I felt disappointed in what he has said. And if you listen to me carefully, I think I explained all what he tried to explain, and I was clear in my words. You asked the question, why the car power ship? The car power ship was not the main source of energy in Sierra Leone by 2017. I told you the AKK was on in Blacker Road, the Kintom Power Station was on, the ADAX was on, the Bumbuna was on, and in the raining season when the Bumbuna is down, that is the time we had car power ship coming to give 30% and 30 megawatts. I also told you when this government came into power, they neglected the AKK in Blacker Road. They shut down the Kintom Power Station. They cut off the agreement with ADAX Biochemical, who were producing green energy for us. And they've neglected the Bumbuna authority that was built by law in 2008 to take care of the dam area. So it will prevent people from doing logging. It will prevent the turbines, because when you log, you have a situation where the sticks, the roots and other things will come into the turbine and affect the system. I said this government needs to put up that system in place to prevent a bigger damage on the dam. I also told you that they're not paying the revenue they're collecting to NRA. I don't want to say what I was expecting from you, but what I was expecting in a situation like this is not to come and say, oh, the members of parliament have not done this. I will say this, I'm not a member of the Energy Committee, but I'll take brief for the chairman.
Honorable, with all those structures you spoke about, car power ship was not brought into Sierra Leone by the SLPP government.
Yes.
Car power ship was brought into Sierra Leone by the APC government.
Agreed.
So with all those structures, you still had to bring car power ship, meaning we still had a deficit.
I'll tell you, that's exactly what I have explained, Phebean. There was a deficit in the dries because the Bumbuna itself, I told you earlier on, there was not enough dam to keep water. So in the dries, the Bumbuna will almost go down to 8 megawatts.
And I will be reminded the repairs of Kintom causes all the problem of bringing car power ship. And the government then said it, and they were too honest to say, we cannot continue repairing our machines. And that is the case. For me, you go back to history, and history will tell you that's why they brought in the car power ship.
We'll come back to that history quickly, Solomon. Honorable, let's simplify this. Electricity supply under the APC-led administration and electricity supply under the SLPP-led administration, we have never had 24 hours electricity in the country steadily. That remains our situation. But if you're rating in terms of percentage scores, what would you score the percentage of the APC and the percentage of the SLPP in terms of electricity supply to the country?
I beg not to answer that question.
I still choose to ask the question.
No, I beg not to answer it the way you want it, but I'll answer it this way. And I'll not be deliberate. You know, I always answer your questions.
How you answer is entirely up to you. My job is simply to ask the questions.
But this is what happens. You know, what gives people confidence to continue to do the wrong things in governance? If you ask me, are you better off than the member of parliament you replaced? I'll tell you yes, in some kind of way. But my question always I ask myself, have I done what the people expect of me as a member of parliament?
So before you ask yourself those questions, respond to the question
that's where I'm going.
How would you score APC's electricity supply and SLPP's electricity supply?
Compared to this, I'll say we're even 100 because we've never had a situation of embarrassing your citizens to say we have to pay the car power
What do you mean by 100?
Well, 100 in the sense...
When citizens never had 24 hours electricity,
but citizens,
when we still had hospitals that could not get 24-hour power, and some people's lives literally depend on electricity supply in ICUs.
I'll tell you why I said 100. If you want to do a comparative analysis, you must go back to 2007, where we were before 2007, and by where we left you in 2018. You look at the space, and you look at the kind of infrastructure that was put in place by the APC. But if I come to explain the achievements of the APC in this program, it means I'll be doing a great disservice to the people of Sierra Leone who are currently living in the current situation of being embarrassed by a government who cannot pay services when us, the people, are paying. This is just a...
The payment of the services is perhaps the least of many Sierra Leoneans' problems. The most important concern to them is access to the electricity supply.
So if government cannot pay for the service, then you cannot have the service.
Yeah, but you've still not answered the question.
That
you said you're scoring your party 100 when there was no 24 hours electricity supply.
What's Sierra Leoneans?
That even would lead to a question of doubting your integrity, that you're saying 100% you're scoring your party.
That has always been the common thing about Sierra Leoneans doubting politicians. So if you doubt my integrity by 100%, I'll not have problems. What I have problem with is, as we sit here, so you're running generator. If
you say you scored 100%, what is the SLPP scoring?
We score 100%, taking from where we left, where we met the country.
So what is the SLPP scoring now?
That is where I'm coming. We scored 100% from where we met the country in 2007 to where we left it in 2018. They are scoring 10% because they've not only supplied the energy, they've broken down, they've destroyed the energy infrastructure they met. They've also left us in a situation where they cannot pay for the services we're incurring. They've also left us in a situation where massive corruption of collecting GST from us and not paying it to NRA. My problem is...
Honorable, is it that you're unaware, or have you forgotten that prior to your party exiting the governance steering ship at the executive, there was a bill for car power ship by Sierra Leone?
A bill?
You left a bill, car power ship.
A bill?
Are you telling Sierra Leoneans this morning there was no bill? Sierra Leone did not owe car power ship.
There was no bill, except you bring the document and I'll tell you there was no bill by 2018 by our government. Again, I have said this.
Ship
yes, I have said this, Phebean. If we take this discussion to be APC and SLP, we're doing the greatest disservice to this nation. The basic conversation here is this.
Let me highlight for you, Honorable, why this conversation is very important.
No, I don't want a conversation of APC and SLP on an issue that affects the people.
That's what you want.
No, that's not
but
what
we don't go off of just what you want. So let me highlight this for you. The importance of that segment of the conversation is to understand for the public. We only have the APC and the SLPP, aside from military intervention, that has governed Sierra Leone.
Go ahead.
And our voting pattern in Sierra Leone, majority of the people are either APC or SLPP. This is part of voter education. So the public gets to understand between the APC and the SLPP who has performed in what way in terms of electricity supply. So let's highlight that for you as the relevance to why this conversation cannot be unconnected to the APC and the SLPP.
I'm still listening.
Now you've not scored the SLPP, you've scored them at 10%. You're saying because they've not been able to pay the bills. But how do you justify that to scoring yours at 100? 100 and the 10, there's a 90% gap there. Justify that.
Are you done?
Yes, go ahead.
It was very plain to say justify that. It's very plain to say justify that, meaning respond. Justify means respond.
I was waiting for you.
Justify that.
I was waiting for you. This is for the purpose of this conversation. I will say there are three factors I've mentioned. In 2018, since you want us to stick political, I'll still go political and get the audience to understand where we are. By 2018, we had all these stations running, including major towns in Sierra Leone having electricity. They were still running. We were providing fuel for those stations, including Lunge, Magboraka. They were still running and they were up. Yeah? We had power stations across the city. ADAX and others I've named were running. We had the Bumbuna providing electricity with no risk to the existing structure. And to make it also very clear, by 2017, we had an agreement to expand the Bumbuna to phase 2. And what the Bumbuna phase 2 was meant to do was this, very clear. It was a 3-year program. One, it was meant to optimize the current Bumbuna phase 1 by building the Yiben Dam. The Yiben Dam was going to keep water during the rains, and after keeping that water 24 hours in the dries, it will give the Bumbuna phase 1 80 megawatts. constant electricity. That is an agreement that came to Parliament and was approved. Again, away from the Bumuna Phase 1, which the Bumuna Phase 2 was going to optimize. Again, the Bumuna Phase 2 itself was going to provide 146 megawatts. Combined the two is more than what we needed at the time for Freetown and the part of the major cities in Sierra Leone. That is why we did not join the CLSG to owe them. We looking at a country that had a false sight. We joined the CLSG with the hope that we are going to generate more power supply. As he said, as he was told when he was young, that we're supposed to sell energy by our environmental systems. We have, and we use our green energy. We are meant to supply more to the sub-region. So we joined the CLSG with the hope that when we have the Bumuna Phase 2 in operation, we are going to have excess electricity throughout the year. So if you say what we've done, we've put in the infrastructures. We were using, the difference here is clear. A government that was using only 30 megawatts from the car power ship throughout the year. A government using 60% as they purport they are currently using from the car power ship throughout the year, closing the Kinton Power Station, closing the Adax Biochemical, closing Charlotte, closing the Agreco in Blacko Road, and you still tell me not protecting the Mumuna, and you still tell me, oh, what you're saying is the same. If you still have the courage to think I have not seen much different, then it means I need to do more in my PR.
Granted, but don't you think that 10% is too disingenuous?
Well, it is not. It is not. I'll tell you why. It is deliberate on the part of this government. And
are you saying they are deliberately putting off the electricity?
Well, if you collect the money and you don't pay, that's deliberate actions on government. But let me go for more than that. When we're moving towards the MCC, this is how interesting this government was. By 2019, 2020, 2021, if you listen to everybody in government, they'll tell you, oh, we have enough energy. Our problem is distribution. We have enough energy. Our problem is distribution. Let me tell you what they were doing. We have 94 sub-mini grids. We're talking about the solar panel programs, the power Leone system and everything across the country. So what they will do is, when they calculate the total grid in Sierra Leone, they will calculate all of those grids together. And they tell you, oh, this is what we have as a country. You understand? And when you present that to us, it's a bulky sum. The APC brought almost 56 of those ones, and they've just tried to bring up to 40. So when we were talking about, oh, how can we do to help the energy sector, they were telling us, oh, we have enough energy. And that is why when you see the all energy programs coming to Sierra Leone, what they're helping us to do is to expand the network, which in itself is a good thing to do. But it's like you telling me, oh, I have the condiments to cook, I have rice, everything. If you want food, let me just end this. Okay. I'll give you what you don't have. And what we cried as a country not having is the distribution power. Now, the disingenuous part of this story is, and why EDSA cannot come up to own up to this, is the fact that they created the problem. And when you talk about, oh, Kande Umkela is saying, let's build our own. It's not a situation where they met a system where nothing was in place. And he's alluding that these systems were off. That is disingenuous to our country. The Black Road was on, the Kintom was on, the Adax was on, the Bumbuna was well protected, and the Charlotte, where today, if you go around, take the cameras to the Charlotte dam, and you will see a situation where almost the entire area where the dam is, up to 100 meters, houses have been built there. How do you expect it to run?
Solomon, what I see here, you know, bottom line of this all is a greater evil, you know. So there is EDSA here, and but the question I wanted to ask you is, what do you think is the best way to I wouldn't say to punish EDSA,